About 10 months ago, I lost a job in a company where I had been working for quite some time. And to be honest, it was quite a blow. I was not prepared for it. I didn't have a plan B, no backup plans. So I did what most of us would do in such a scenario. I went into survival mode. I started applying for jobs that matched my exact skill set, same responsibilities, same challenges, and basically same comfort zone for me. After sending my application to 100 job openings, I finally landed two interviews. Then at the interviews, this theme song and dance off. Tell us about yourself. What are your strengths? Why should we hire you? And my least favorite of them all, what are your plans in the next 5 years? I could be dead for all I care in the next 5 years. Sorry if that sounded morbid. After a little bit of waltz and tango, I finally got one of the jobs. I went back into the grind, and pretty much I was doing the same thing that I had been doing at my previous company. I was like, okay, this is new. This is a little difficult to navigate, new people, new dynamic within the organization. But I would get my old life back, my old paycheck back, and it will be the same all over again. But 2 months in, I felt it. I really had a bad feeling this time around for some reason. I don't know what that reason exactly was. I couldn't point a finger on it. I just had a feeling that if I stayed here longer, I would eventually resign or they might ask me to leave. I spent a lot of time thinking about it and played the same monologue over and over again in my head until I detected the pattern that had been repeating itself in my life all these years. And the realization was that I was a risk averse person and always chose stability over challenge. I saw that so many times in the past, over the duration of my career, I had rejected projects that challenged me in some way or the other. I stayed in roles that did not stretch me enough. So, naturally, in my career, there was no friction, no growth, which eventually led to a stagnation. And the saddest realization of them all was the fact that there was never ever any passion on my part. And I genuinely never cared about the industry that I had been a part of for so long. So, after 2 months, I resigned from a very new job. And of course, it involved a lot of explanation and difficult conversations with my hiring manager. But I did not know how to tell them that I had outgrown an earlier version of myself. And I did not fit into those traditional corporate roles anymore. Okay, I get that steady paycheck is very important, and I'll always be grateful for the financial stability that came with my previous roles. But in my case, I realized that I have been using my job as an excuse to postpone a lot of personal projects that I wanted to take up. So, a few weeks after my resignation, I changed gears. I took up freelancing because, of course, I still wanted some money coming in, but at the same time, I was able to establish strict boundaries at work and work around a very flexible timing. And with whatever free time I had, I was finally able to start something that I had only dreamt of for all my life. So it's a small business that I started in June last year. And no, I'm not going to talk about that in this video. What I really want to reflect on is somewhat a little different. And through this video, I'm hoping that it's going to encourage and help a lot of people who are also thinking of starting something similar. It's not going to be a step by step playbook on starting a business because I'm far from calling myself an expert. And trust me, my business is yet to see better days. What I would rather focus on is the mindset shift which helped me take this step, made me more welcoming toward challenges, and helped me cultivate the ability to let go of anchors. Let's start with the first realization of them all: money. For 2 years, during my stable employment, I kept telling myself, I will start a business or my personal project when the time is right, without actually realizing how fleeting life really is. Of course, you need to be in a position where you are able to meet all your needs and expenses. I do not condone starting a business without having some pool of savings. But after a certain point, if you have some surplus sitting in your account that you think you are going to use for some vague future event, that money is not really serving you. It's never going to be truly yours unless you use it to invest in yourself. And I specifically use the word invest, not spend. The truth is, no matter how big or small that extra pool of money is, say maybe 5,000, 20,000, 80,000, it doesn't matter. Use it to invest in yourself Start something. It doesn't even have to be a business. Maybe learn something new. Start a personal project. I also realized that I was using my job as an excuse to postpone a lot of things that I had been wanting to do. I keep telling myself I could have started earlier. I would have learned so much more by now. Do your research. And if your gut is telling you that you have got the required resources to start something new of your own, then go for it. The sooner you start, the earlier you're going to learn many things along the way. There's nothing wrong in starting something even when you are scared and unsure. I kept postponing my personal goals because I always felt I wasn't ready. And you know what? You are never going to be ready. Trust me on that. Let me give you an example. It's going to sound very cliche, but losing the job was one of the best things to have ever happened to me because it exposed something very fundamental about our lives. It was simply the fact that unpleasant things do not send any warnings. Stability is an illusion, and no matter how prepared we think we are, mishaps will interrupt us. I was putting in efforts, showing up for meetings, being a good employee, and playing by the rules. But what happened? I had everything going great for me. The job was stable, the pay was decent, it was safe, comfortable, and even predictable until a point. And then it was gone. So, if permanence is not even guaranteed, nothing is going to last forever in our lives. Why is perfection even a prerequisite? So, why was I waiting for the perfect time when my future could just change overnight? So, you know what I did? I started from scratch. Very messy. And starting anything is messy. That's the structure of learning. Because good things are built with really first bad attempts. And you have no idea how much I have made myself cringe over the last couple of months. I have proudly made 100 mistakes and embarrassed myself. But that's what I signed up for. Because life, after all, isn't a Pinterest board. It's not aesthetic at all. So go ahead and start something new. And I promise you, you are going to be terrible on your first time. Pretty much like this video. Start a messy project, build a shabby website, crochet an ugly beanie, and make the worst coffee in the world. But those poor outputs are not an evidence that you should not begin. This is going to be controversial. Do not trust the algorithm. Before all you data experts come at me, take this with a pinch of salt. I know that you need algorithms, numbers, and analytics to make important decisions in your business. But if I don't have enough data is your excuse to stay stuck, then you need a break from data. Before your fancy reports, algorithm, and data sheets, there was something called an intuition. It still exists, I think. As scary as it may sound, take a break from all that data, follow your intuition, and see where it takes you. You may like it. And if you hate it, it's okay. I totally accept that data refines decisions. They are very important. We all need it. But starting anything groundbreaking and doing something different with your life requires intuition as much as data. Sometimes the best move on your part is a guess, and it has to begin before the numbers exist. I have always heard about something called the learning paradox, but I did not fully understand its significance until starting my own business and this YouTube channel. Learning paradox is the counterintuitive reality that the more you learn about something, the more you understand and realize how little you actually know. And sometimes that realization can be paralyzing. And every answer opens up 10 more questions. This isn't just a business problem, it's our reality as humans. For example, the more we study about the universe, the more it keeps expanding. The more we understand atoms, the more subatomic layers we uncover. And the more about human minds and the very nature of existence. So it goes on and on. Okay, that got a little philosophical, but even scientists and experts admit that what we don't know far outweighs what we do know. So, who are we as aspiring business owners and content creators to expect that on day one we'll have complete knowledge of our field? I absolutely support learning, I support research, and I support preparation, but not to the point where all of those become a hiding place. Because there comes a point where more information does not lead to clarity. It creates hesitation, and hesitation leads to inaction. At some stage, you do not need another podcast episode, you don't need another course or another tutorial. You just need to begin, my friend. It's going to be a very bumpy ride, but it's all worth it. So enjoy the party while you can and make the most of what you have got. And this is where I would like to conclude today's video. I hope you enjoyed listening to it and were able to relate to some of the things that I said. And if you are experiencing something similar in your life or have had a similar experience somewhere in the past, please tell me about it in the comment section. I would love to know. And with that, I take my leave. I'll see you again next week with another video. Until then, bye bye and have a great week.